The special one is back in management with Benfica as Jose Mourinho takes over the Portuguese side. However, we can't ignore the fact he's been sacked from a couple of previous jobs, and his powers might have worn off, leaving him to go back home. As I previously said, Benfica is the team to take a chance on him as we reunite the special one with one of his first ever clubs, Benfica, to get them playing, get them going in the Champions League again, and eventually winning that trophy, which Jose has a reputation of doing. As yes, people, here we are. As you can see, the contract is for Jose Mourinho. He is going back home to the club where it almost all began, in Benfica, as this is the team that starts. As you can see, everyone is in the correct positions, and it doesn't look too bad. They've got experience in Nicolas Otamendi, the striker, Pavlidis, Luka Bacchiao down on this bench. They've got Prestiani, Sudakov, and a plethora of young players, some already out on loan, because you might be able to tell I have gone ahead and used live points. Jose's taken over Benfica because they had to sack Bruno Lage after the old manager failed in the Champions League, and currently has them sitting fourth, which isn't bad, you know, but it's not good. And we need to make this team a lot better and rebuild the Portuguese giants, making them the best Portuguese team in the world, along with the best team in the world. But there is a contract that comes with this. We're going to complete 2 objectives before eventually getting onto the last one, as the first one is we've got to bring back 2 Benfica Academy graduates. As I weren't joking when I said Benfica were a huge club who have produced a lot, including young talent that might not have got there since leaving Benfica, and then Premier League talent. I think you know who I'm talking about. As we've got to sign 2 of those, we're operating in euros, and we've got 62 mil to start off with. But if you don't already know by now, and you haven't seen the Wolves rebuild that is on the channel, contracts are horrible in FC26 to start off with, as you can only actually negotiate when the player wants to negotiate. And at the moment, Otamendi's in his final year of contract to the 37-year-old, and Antonio Silva, the 21-year-old wonder kid, only 2 years. However, before we get thinking of signings and signing players up, we've got to change this. I'm just not buying this formation at all, so I'm going to go for an unusual one. The 4-5-1, and you might think, Max, you don't have the players for this. But after a little shuffle around, we're going to have to change a lot of positions here. I think it looks good enough for the Portuguese League, and we've got to make more changes, including to this wonder kid, Andreas Schneidelrup. Very excited to see how he does. Bruma's got to try and change. And Prestiani can also be a cam. He can be the next Lionel Messi. Of course, Jose, a manager that's worked with his rival in Cristiano Ronaldo, not Lionel himself. As where do we make this first sign-in? Well, as I did just say, Bruma's going to take a long time to train as a left mid, so he's going to be on the watch list, but then also Otamendi. If I can't guarantee that contract that he might not sign, we do need someone else, but then again, Thomas Araujo is going to cover him well. Him and Antonio Silva at the back leaves us very stacked, but there is a better player out there, and that is Ruben Diaz, but I didn't look at his potential rating. I can't believe he's almost got 91, and he's only 28. As on second thoughts, this first season we do lack a left back. Orsnes we're going to try and change, but he can actually go straight to the right. But then when I've had a look on the market, I cannot find one for the life of me. But then I found this man who could cover, and he's fairly cheap himself. Danilo Pereira came through at Benfica and has recently played for the Champions League winners. So I've confirmed his arrival, and that is one of 2 ex-academy players. It's some cover for when Otamendi goes, and that is going to be next season's places now. Sudakov, one thing I didn't realise, he's only a loan, and one I would love to make permanent, but we do not have the dollar to be messing around right now with that kind of thing. We need to go out there and get another ex-player to try and give Benfica a good first season under Jose Mourinho, and the man I found is none other but the 31-year-old Bernardo Silva, giving us 2 ex-players coming back to help Jose Mourinho out in January. But of course, this is a rebuild, and we're skipping to the end of the season. Which leaves us with this team. As you can see, Otamendi has actually signed up another contract, but now he is 38. And now he's hitting that unk status. I'm not going to be using him for very long. Bar has been at left back, and there's improvements to Pavlidis. Of course, Silva's come and played, knocking Schneiderrup, Prestiani, and also Piera to the bench, as he's actually been drastically bad. 34-year-old, 42 pace. We've got one stinky defender here, and one who's come to stink up the gaff. But at least we have completed that first objective, opening up the second one of we need to sign now 3 players which ex-Jose Mourinho coached. Like I said early on in the video, he has coached Cristiano Ronaldo before, but with us playing Sporting Lisbon in this league, I don't think he's going to want to come to the team we're coaching right now, as Sudakov's had some serious growth. However, only on loan, as one of our best players is out on loan. Koiku went back to Germany to play for Besiktas, but we want him back, along with a lot of loan players that are out there, as Pavlidis did score 30 goals. We got Sudakov getting 20, Luka Bacchio 12. Oh my days, and he's the special one. How have we actually done this? First season with only one window, we go unbeaten. Bruno Lage has got sacked for Jose, and Jose's actually got the league title wrapped up in the cabinet for Benfica in his first season back. Genuinely unreal, but he does not get a Taka Portuguesa to go with it, losing to Sporting. And when we skip straight to looking at the Champions League, we were out in the round of 16. Something Jose did at Fenerbahce was drastically fail in Europe, and he's failing to keep players happy. One of our best wonder kids, Silva, is not good. Same as Luka Bacchio, so we've got to really be careful. And if you do want to make someone happy, and myself watching this video, if you could leave a like and subscribe down below. It's completely free, and there's a rebuild coming in 2 days time, so get that notification bell on. One you simply won't want to miss, as this is what I love about this new FC26 manager markets. Look at that, ex-Paris manager going to City in Enrique, and this is the team. I do see a loss in the defense. It looks like Silva's gone, and also Luka Bacchio. The 2 players I said I could see leaving, but I'm going to try and put a positive swing on things. We have just won the league, and we've got over 150 mil in Portugal. We just went without an unexpected event, which didn't actually negatively affect us, so we should be able to spend this money. We have Rios in the middle. I'm going to swap him with Koiku, because I'm actually going to trust the youth. Schneiderrup's going to go into the team. I definitely need a left midfielder. Then we need a centre-back. And of course, a right mid. Although we have plenty of players in the squad because I did promote a couple of youngsters. Then we've got the likes of Rego, we've got Dedic, and Araujo. This man can step in the team. He is perfect, and I forgot about him. So him next to Fiorentino. If we can change the Burnley loanee back to a centre-back, that will be perfect. But he is in his final year of contract. As that's something that can be an issue. The contracts going forward. And also the amount of players we have here, because we've got 40 on the books at Benfica, as we've already got 150 mil, but now it's time to make some more profit. Or do we actually have to do that? Because when we've got a message from the board, it says use it or lose it. We've got to spend all the money. It's not carrying over. So we've got to sell up, and then we've got to spend quickly, as we need 3 players from Jose Mourinho's teams, and I think I'm going to get them straight in. Still, make an extra bit of money with the sale of Andre Gomes firstly. Manu Silva's going to West Ham. Then Leandro Santos Rems. A few others have gone out of the club, as you can see, and I'm going to keep selling them fringe players, because I only want ones here for the badge, and for the badge, we will go and find players with that hefty, almost 200 million budget, which Jose's not had before, or should I say in a while, because let's be honest, this man worked under Daniel Levy, and he also worked at Roma, and I know we don't desperately need a centre-back, especially one at 30-year-old, but Mancini, he has the experience of just knocking us out the Champions League, and he is a big player, and he's a player that's actually going to sit in the middle of a back 3, because I'm changing formation. Yeah, despite winning the league, I don't rate the strength of our fullback, so now we only need a right mid, because Schneiderrup is going on the left, and then a striker that's worked under Jose, and one comes to mind. Big Romelu Lukaku. Yes, he's 33-year-old, and we've got to spend all the money, which is why he's going to come in, and then I'm going to sign one of his ex-teammates in Scott McTominay. Both come from Napoli, both played together at United, probably bored of playing in Italy and getting that Balon d'Or nomination, which is why he's come over to Portugal, and of course, both were coached at United by the special one giving us this team, and And now we've still got a bit of money left for the right-hand side in 51 million. And the contract's now completed. All them 2 objectives we already had have been. So there we go. We've just got to win the Champions League with Jose. Can he do it again? After obviously spending this money because the board told us they're not carrying it to next season. So we've got to splash the cash. And the player I've signed from Sunderland is Talbi. This man, the Moroccan, 96 pace on him. And he's had to come onto the right as my days. How much changing I've done to this team as McTominay still not a CDM. Lukaku unfortunately has gone down. Silva, on the other hand, he's took the captaincy off Otamendi, his ex-Manchester City teammate, and got himself to the 2nd highest rated above Pavlidis, who of course is the top scorer. He got more than Romelu Lukaku, and Ivanovic gave him a good run, so maybe Lukaku could be sold. As speaking of sold, Koiku, you might have spotted, he's out of the team. And that is 80 million made, but when you deep what the board said to us minutes ago, this money from the budget this year will not be carrying on to next season, so 120 million made is going straight in their back pockets. Jose's getting screwed over here, hopefully still get a decent sized budget. For some veteran players, because the amount of young players we had at this squad, as you can see, we've loaned a lot out here. Prestiani's gone out on loan. João Rego's out on loan. And also this man, Samuel Dahl. He's earned a big move as 2 defeats, but I believe we got more wins this season, getting us a La Liga NOS or Liga Portugal trophy, which is our 2nd in 2 seasons, but it's not the trophy we actually want. As Sporting again in the Taka Portuguesa, they stop us from winning a domestic double, but this is the only thing Jose needs now. Finish 7th in the Champions League phase, beating Inter 3-2, which is a huge result on paper, before Manchester City 4-3, a huge result against the Citizens. Oh, but then there's a 4-3 defeat to Real Madrid. That's gutting, is that? And now we need to desperately get some midfielders back because McTominay's not changed position, and I don't want him moaning and cutting his contract. To leave the club, Fiorentino's one of our better players, same as Araujo. We've got Trubin. If I had to make a signing, it'd probably still be a striker. We do have Ivanovic, a good backup on the bench, and also this man Dahl. He can climb his way up here, as bench-wise, it's goddamn perfect. We've still got more players we can sell because we loaned them out, so their evaluations went up, and 98 million, we should meet that 120 again. This season as Dahl, I'm going to train him as a left midfielder because statistically, good pace and 85 dribbling on him. Also 5-star skills. That loan to Newcastle really helped that youngster. As I think I'm going to loan out the youth academy prospects, sell the ones that were currently at the club. And that's actually pretty funny. The mascot's got a little animation here. But let's try and not get distracted. Let's go and sell some more players. We need to put a budget together quickly. And I know we've already got a big one, but I want it to be even bigger, so we're selling some of the academy graduates. As here's everything that has gone, and trust me, we've actually sold more than graduates. Lukaku's gone straight out to Juventus, big move back to the Serie A, which he always finds himself at. Otamendi, Rangers, a lot of changing around here, giving us 184 million. We need a new striker for definite. But speaking of changing around, I haven't checked the manager market. I'd love to see anybody in our division, as there's Pellegrini coming to Gilvente. And for the second rebuild run-in, Diego Simeone gets sacked. To be fair, he had some turmoil at Anfield very recently in the Champions League, as that's the trophy we've got to try and win, and maybe we sign 2 players for this team. With our only aim to be winning the Champions League, I want to get a youth player in. Yes, I know we've had some at the club and I haven't trained them too greatly, but welcome in Rafa Milan. He's 6'3". He could probably drop into the back 3 if we needed him to, but he's gonna play CDM. As there he is, Bernardo Silva as well, now at an 87. With Ivanovic, the next player replaced. On paper, he looks brilliant, but we need someone better if we are going for that Champions League title. After all, let's get the contract up. It's the only thing on the bottom. But the 2 objectives prior had us focusing on Portuguese players. And obviously we are a Portuguese team. We could go in for a Portuguese striker. However, in our Wolves rebuild as well, we kept quite a Portuguese side together. So I am going to try and go big. I'm not going to go for a star in the making, but one that's already been made. And as you can see, I've done a lot of scouting. And Benjamin Šeško at Manchester United, the Poison Chalice, has improved and looks like a striker that Jose would love to stand up front as a lump. And this is a new one. Of course, as I've been simming previous seasons, I've had a couple of unexpected events, but there have been injuries, 50-50 clashes. However, now there is fireworks going on outside our hotel, which is honestly pretty funny, because it sounds like something Jose would do to the other team. But do you know something else that Jose Mourinho would do? He would go and win the Champions League. With a team like this, let's just look at the past who he's won it with. Well, he's won it in 03-04 with Porto and 09-10 with Inter Milan, who are huge clubs, yes, but it's not like City, Real Madrid, or anyone on that top shelf, as has the fireworks put us off. We've got a 90 rated Trubin. We've got 2 over 88 strikers. Tomas Araujo's had a brilliant season, and also Talby's gone under the radar. Up to an 86 as goal scorers, of course. Our 2 strikers have carried. However, Sporting have got the player of the year, Trincao, the right winger. With them dominating the team of the season, only 2 players from our ranks. And I don't like that. I don't like this as well, because in season number 3/4, I think, we finished 3rd into the Europa League, which, as previously mentioned, Jose has not done well in, especially with Fenerbahce. As the Taka Portuguesa, though, finally we get our luck. Sporting are beaten on penalties, the league winners. It is the Cup, and Sporting Lisbon just like to haunt us literally everywhere. Liga Nos Central with 3rd and 4th being from Portugal in that league phase, and then in the round of 16 a big game against Barcelona, which I believe was a comeback, and then Arsenal tried to come back against us. Oh my days, and we've beaten Liverpool. We've beaten Liverpool 3-1 in the semi-finals to place us in the Champions League finale with Mourinho's Benfica. And this comes against his former club, Real Madrid, where he has managed before, and by the looks of things have only gone on to get even stronger. As here we go, it's going to be at Manchester United, and I did want to speak on Šeško because I'm hearing a lot of things about him being amazing. Obviously now back at his new home in Manchester United. As will you believe me when I actually say I am unbeaten on foot? Ultimate team, that is, so hopefully we do have a good time of it here. McTominay, good pass into Pavlidis, the top scorer. Talby would have played against these. Oh my days, with Sunderland. Big chance. And Jose Mourinho back against his former club at one of his former homes as well. Short corner, Pavlidis hits the head of the defender. And it's a chance to get the ball back now, though. High press on Real Madrid. Bernardo Silva linked with a move to La Liga at some point. And our captain with a big chance. As I'm going to just try a normal cross. 3 centre-backs in that box. Anybody on the edge of it? Moise Kean winning it for Real Madrid. We've got to be better than that. Got to be better than that. As our de Goulet, we've already used him. So 2 rebuilds, 2 views of him. And now we've got to try and put a stop to him on the right-hand side. And McTominay does. Šeško, he is kind of through. Pavlidis over the top. He wins the header. He tries to return it. Awful decision-making, I can't lie, from me. But Mancini, one of Jose's ex-players, winning the ball up the field. Bernardo Silva into Schneider up. If he hangs it into that corridor of uncertainty, it was close. But not close enough to separate the teams at half-time. We've got to be a lot better than them. Come on, we've got to get on it. We've got to get at them. Pavlidis through the middle. The big Greekman, he tries to take the shots on, and we've got very lucky with that bounce. Schneider up, tries to round Trent. As let's be honest, if you're looking at a defence with him in it, you're definitely going to go and try that, as we've gone too far back, but still trying to gauge a shooting opportunity. It's Araujo, one of our defenders. Goes down, but the ball falls to Taibbi, who's going to cut inside himself. A smart turn, and could get the shot off. Wonderful move, the Moroccan, and now they've got a pass down here. It is Trent sneaking forward, and a header just wide from Brahim. We've got to track our players better, and now Schneider into Šeško. 1-2. Brilliant move, the Norwegian. If he can find the back post, Pavlidis. He finds him, and he finds the bottom corner. Courtois finally beaten. It's the big man, the OG of Benfica. Pavlidis slides in. I love my Greek players. I love them overpowered, and he definitely is. Loses control of it, but still gets it bottom bins. Fantastico. Now McTominay, Šeško, Schneiderrup. We're still looking for that next goal, and this man did just get the assist. Maybe could go himself here, the number 21. He scored it! Now, that is one of the only shots I have ever taken where I get that close, and I still don't expect to score. And it's a very fine goal, which does look like it could mean that Benfica beat Real Madrid in the Champions League finale. Not something I expected to be saying, and Benjamin Šeško cuts away. It's gone into Schneiderrup again. Got to be the man of the match unless Pavlidis gets another. You have got to score your second in a Champions League finale with a chance like that. And they could get a chance here. Bellingham strikes the bar. Vinny Jr. down into Moise Kean. Stole by the Italian teammate in Mancini. And now we go. Bernardo Silva. Šeško. He's been a really good hold-up man. Not in front of goal as Schneiderrup could get his second of the game. Less said about Trent the better as Pavlidis at the front post went straight through to the big man in Milan. The Rangers won up, but there we go. It doesn't matter anyway because the whistle's gone. 2-0 Benfica. We've done it. I've got the kit as well. I've been there and done it with Jose. As 3 trophies now, as well as that Champions League we were after. With Bernardo Silva lifting it back at one of his former teams. He came back to captain them, as Jose Mourinho came back to coach them. If you do want to see any more manager rebuilds, I do have one potentially in the pipeline. It's not going to be just yet, but it's going to be the one of the very soon ones. There's a huge rebuild I want to do, but I've got to wait until EA actually fix the contracts before I go ahead and do that. So in the meantime, click the subscribe button.